Hi, everybody. So I am here actually live and in person with Devon tonight, which I feel like doesn't happen very often because usually the person is just like in their little bubble on their separate screen. So as everyone is hopping on, it's going to be a little bit different tonight because there's multiple things that you can actually ask us about and put in the comments. So we're going to be doing the live business readings as usual, but then we're also going to be doing separate questions where you can actually talk to Devon, specifically ask questions about your branding, about your marketing. Hi, Jamie. And so, and I'll mention that I've worked with her specifically, like she helped me redo my website, and it was like we're calling it like an energetic digital like makeover. So she's really, really good and specifically specializes in working with a lot of conscious business owners, a lot of people that have impactful, purposeful businesses. So she's like a perfect person for you guys to ask all of those questions about. So I see you guys starting to hop on, and Jamie, I know that you know how this works. I know that there's a few other names that I'm seeing here as well. So if you guys want to start putting your questions in, Chelsea, I don't know if Chelsea's hopped on, but either ask your question and say, hey, I have a marketing question or a branding question or whatever it is. And you could say that it's for Devon, or we might just tackle it and do it from two angles. Maybe we'll do like Devon's expertise and then we'll pull in the intuitive read on it as well. So we're going to start waiting for you guys to basically show up and comment. And if you're on Instagram as well, please comment. We're checking on both sides. Do you want to share about yourself first so that people can get acquainted with you and know who you are? Okay, cool.
My name is Devon Poer, and Ashley and we met through people in the Orange County spiritual community. So I think specifically at Body Studios in Anaheim. My area of expertise is as a professional intuitive is around marketing and branding. I have a background in PR and communications. I've worked in corporate. I've also worked freelance for almost 10 years, and I worked with magazines. I produced photo shoots and video, and I styled celebrities. I was a magazine, I think I was a magazine editor, and I produced a lot of different marketing content for websites. So, and then I started building my own websites years ago, and then when I worked in corporate, I built a website for the company that I worked for too. So when I left, I kind of just got into it as a business coach, but didn't really come out as an intuitive until I became a business coach. Because all the people that I started working with as a business coach all seemed to be in the spiritual realm.
Yeah.
And then the conversation too, I feel like in business coaching is a lot around personal development and personal growth.
Totally.
So as far as being an entrepreneur and why you need a spiritual business coach is because you're overcoming hurdles that have a lot to do with what has kept you stuck and not getting to that level of success that you want to get, because there's things that we don't see, you know, so there's things that we know, and then there's things that we know that we don't know, and then there's things that we just don't even know that we don't know. And so when you leave kind of the safety of, you know, like a corporate environment or how you're supposed to do life as far as a career, as a business, becoming an entrepreneur really is a spiritual catalyst.
Totally. I feel like it's like personal development on steroids when you start a business.
No, you want to go through spiritual growth, become an entrepreneur, and definitely become an entrepreneur in any realm of especially the coaching industry, or even providing any type of service to people, because the dynamic of everything has changed so much within the past 10 years with the internet and how things are happening. I mean, the coaching business is a $2 billion a year industry.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, think about the number. Okay, so Chelsea is on. Hi, Atef. I don't have my glasses on. I think I'm saying your name, but correct me if I say your name wrong. Hi, Atef. So I see some people waving. Hi, Laura. So we are waiting for you guys right now to hop in with your questions. We will just keep talking and sharing our info with you on the things that we have to share. But I know that those of you watching have probably come here with a question, or you've come here with a curiosity. So don't be shy for being the first one. I feel like it's always like the first one to hop in, and then everything just starts coming and people warm up. So you get extra brownie points if you're the first one tonight.
So who wants an intuitive reading tonight?
Yes. Well, we have Laura on. Laura, you just started your new business, so I can imagine that you probably have a question about that. So post it. And then Chelsea will be, once we have more people join us over the next hour, we'll sort of be moderating it a little bit. Okay. I feel like I need to put my glasses on, because if I have it further back for both of us.
I can read it.
Can you? Okay.
So Jamie says, I've been doing a doTERRA biz for a couple of years, looking to incorporate financial planning into my, I think she means into my biz. Incorporate financial planning into your biz. So I think she's trying to say about you're going to do both, or your career. So it's kind of like on the intuitive space on this one is the clarity, right? So it's like the clarity and distinguishing your businesses. And you are one when it comes to your career and your business. So combining helping people with their health and financial needs. So I see you want to kind of bring it together as like a holistic health and financial wellness coach. My first question would be, is that something that somebody perceivably thinks that they need? So, and I'm going to give you an example today of something that happened with me, is a financial situation that came up today, and we were talking about needing a financial advisor. Now, the core of that conversation had a lot to do with the perceived need of why you needed a financial advisor. And when you're going to go to the financial advisor, it had something to do with legal, right? It's usually, there's always some sort of legal aspect right now. And so when somebody is in that place and they feel that they need to fulfill that, okay, I need to find a financial planner. Are they really looking for a financial planner that's also going to coach them on their health? I would say the flip side of this would be that in the coaching industry, if you wanted to go out and be a money mindset coach, then having doTERRA is part of the holistic signature program, and the fact that you're going to give them more of the ritual and more of the energy medicine utilizing doTERRA, then I would say go out and be a money mindset coach, not offer a financial planning service per se.
I like that for Jamie. I did pull one card for you, Jamie, as well, because I think one of the things that Devon was touching on, which I think is really good, is getting more in touch with the way that your client perceives the problem or what their issue is, because sometimes we're like way over here with the solution, but there's a disconnect with what it is. And that's something that, one of the things that I remember we had a lot of conversations on, because it can be really challenging to think about that for yourself and to sort of get into their shoes. So I did pull a card on that of like, okay, what's basically going to be the perspective of your clients and customers, and just see what we can find. Interesting. Fears surrounding money. I love that this came up for you. It's like so perfect. It's the 5 of birth card. It's talking about the wisdom to accept help from others, uncertain self-employment. So from this card, that I can see that people are likely going to be in the space around money where it's more about survival for them. And I could see it really tying in to what she's talking about, like the mindset, the ritual of it, about it being like very much like learning about kind of law of attraction, and how do you use your oils to combine that together? What are some different practices to shift your belief? Like, I feel like there's
money's stressful, dealing with the whole conversation of money. I mean, at one point you're working on the communication. How am I communicating the conversation around money? And this is, so I do a lot of astrology too, which I should have mentioned in the beginning. But and I pull astrology, business astrology as well. So it's like if you're coaching a client on money mindset right now, and we're in the astrology where we just had the new moon in Gemini, and we're in Sun in Gemini, and Gemini is good for communications. And Venus is about to move into Gemini as well. So Venus is love. So right now I would say it's the time where your client potentially it's a good time to communicate, and it's a good time about love. So which oils that I would use right now are X, Y, and Z oils, because you're coaching them through the psychology and the script around money, but the energetics and the energy medicine tied to it.
Yeah. And I feel like I can even see you, Jamie, which, by the way, all you guys hopping on, start asking your questions while we're working with Jamie. Start putting your questions in, questions for Devon or things that you want a reading on, just in general. But I can totally see you rolling this out with your own team. And it feels like it's something that evolves as you do it, because I can imagine that when people are, oftentimes it could be like their first business if they're with doTERRA, or that they might have their own mindset things to get past in terms of getting to the point of attracting the wealth. And so I feel like for you, you kind of seem like this, this is like a really random metaphor, but I almost kind of see you as this sort of like safari guide where money for many people, it feels like a very kind of scary, like unknown place. Like I don't really know what I'm getting myself into. And that for many people, it's a big leap for them to even be like going on this type of adventure, to be asking for help. And so I see you as the one that's like seen as sort of this trusted person that's like, I've navigated this territory and I have all of the tools and resources, like come with me on this journey. And that's that's my metaphor for how I'm seeing this for you. And it does feel like it is very much tied to money for people that have businesses or that want to have a business, but they feel like they need to get past that hurdle, that belief system that it's even possible for them to do it.
Well, yeah, and then I think too, because you do doTERRA as well, right?
I use doTERRA, but I don't
get involved in the investment business side of it.
Yeah, I have it more just because I love using the oils for myself. Yeah, and it's just sort of not as much when I'm pregnant because I've sort of I don't ingest them as much right now. But
that's another question. So Jamie said, "Love that." Yes, I'm a connector and love sharing things that I've learned with people. So, and as far as business goes too, it's you can take that in either or way as doTERRA and get involved in the multi-level and marketing of it and helping people to get over their money mindset issues to expand their doTERRA business.
Yeah.
Which is just in itself a niche. So that's the thing about it's more along the lines of seeing where there's a need, Jamie, and tapping in intuitively to where people feel that there's a need that you really would like to fulfill with the unique set of talents that you have as a conscious business owner. So,
hi, Molly. Hi, Christine. So if you guys we're wrapping up with Jamie now. So if you guys start hopping in with your questions, you don't necessarily have to have a specific question. It could just be, hey, I just want a general read about my business. Okay, Molly just said. Great example, Molly. Or it could be I'm really curious about this specific aspect of my business. It could be something specifically targeted to Devon as well. So I will mention to you guys that if you are watching from anywhere where it's been shared, that you do have to make sure that you're watching, I guess, the original place that it's broadcast from, because sometimes I've had people that are commenting on a shared post and I'll see it later and they're like, oh, you weren't answering me. So if this was shared, which by the way, share it with people that are going to benefit, invite your friends, invite people that are really going to benefit from this today, especially your friend that has been talking about starting a business for a really long time and they haven't done it, because I know we all have a friend like that or multiple. Tag that person and make sure that they're here as well. They're welcome to get a reading about where they're at or starting their business. So we are going to go to Molly, and then I have Chelsea that's helping me out tonight, and she basically will help get you guys queued up so that we know who is next. Okay, so Molly. Okay. So Molly, I'm just going to do kind of a general business reading. And if you can actually reply back to me, I feel like Devon will probably be able to start getting in on this, like as we start to move through the conversation. But I do really like when you guys reply back to me. So it's an interaction. So I picked two different aspects for you. The first is similar to the same aspect I was reading for Jamie of what your clients and customers are really coming to you for. And then we're going to touch on what I call your unique magic and purpose. So it's interesting. There's something about a little bit of, let me just tap in and fill into this for a moment. The sense that I'm getting is that there's some sort of relief or peace that people get from however you work with them or whatever product. I don't know if you have a service or a product, but I notice the heart chakra is where I go immediately, that it feels almost like there's a lot of chaos, that lives are very busy, that there's things that are going on like a mile a minute, and that it starts to like wear away at a person. And I see people kind of coming in with these very kind of chaotic, busy lives. I even notice how I like start to talk quickly, like, and I get tuned into the aspect of when we don't have time to slow down. So I'm really curious about what you do, Molly. If you want to start kind of typing to me, I don't think that you've typed before, but I see people that there's some element of peace or slowing down that they get from you. And I want to mention to you that sometimes what your clients and customers get from you might not always be the thing that you actually deliver. So you could have like a jewelry company, for example, but there might be a certain energy that you have that's attached to it that then people are receiving. And it's basically just going to give you this insight on what's going on in people's lives. And so there's something about, it almost feels like an element of self-care in a non-traditional way, of this opportunity to kind of slow down and invite that peace back into your life. So I'm curious, like, I'd like for you to just type to me a little bit about what you do and if that's making sense, because that feels like it doesn't necessarily.
Oh,
she's not typing.
Okay.
Molly, where are you? I need to know now. Because it sounds like very odd the way that I'm feeling it and describing it, but it came in like in such a body sensation that I'm like, I know that it's right, but I want to know, I want that confirmation. Okay, and then it talks about your unique magic and purpose. And it's interesting because both of these cards are sort of talking about this kind of sense of a chaotic external environment. And so this card is actually speaking of it as well, of somehow people having these competing goals. And the sense that I'm getting is that there's a way that you get people to be more focused in. It could be.
She says she's here.
Tell me what you do, Molly.
Hi, Lucinda.
Hi. Molly, what is it that you do? Because it's feeling like, based on how these cards are reading, like it definitely could be something else energetic, but it's feeling more service-based to me. But it seems like there's a way that you sort of focus people in. And I almost feel like you work with people more like that you're doing one thing, but then you're working with them on the energetic level in a completely different way, and that your energy is also having an impact. So I want to give you a chance, Molly, because I know there's a few other people that Chelsea has queued up for us.
Right now I'm in between jobs, but there's a lot of chaos happening right now.
Oh, maybe
I actually left my husband last week. So this one?
Oh, okay. I feel like this is your energy then.
Because I've been picking up on that one. So 5, 2, and fire. So there's a lot of change happening in your life, and almost some things that are kind of like burning down, and you didn't have the support that you needed in your life for you to even pursue what you really want to pursue as a business. So now you're kind of in this space of like, oh my God, I don't know what I want to do or what I want to do next with with my life, but you do know that there's something bigger for you.
Yeah. And this card, I'll show it to you. It's 5 of fire. It says competing goals, bothersome details, conflict with others. And so it's interesting because I was feeling the heart. And so
yeah,
I feel like it's her energy that's coming through more than the business right now.
Yeah. Well, and just, Molly, you're going probably, my girl, you're going through a lot right now. It's just like my heart's pounding so hard right now as well. So I'd say for you, anything that's going on with your life is to focus on your safety. I'm feeling really safe right now. I'm feeling really wrapped in love, and whatever that is, to provide that for yourself right now. And then things with career and what to do with job and stuff like that, that'll just unfold with stuff will just kind of happen that you are focused on the desire of what would be the best for you right now.
I get a sense that what you're going through right now, Molly, is part of what your purpose is. Like that there's something that you're actually going to be walking this path and walking this journey and then become uniquely qualified to basically be supporting other people in this. And so
absolutely, every adversity is an opportunity for greatness. Yeah.
So I feel like there might be a connection between these cards and what you end up doing. But I hope that you got something from that. Like, thank you for hopping on
just
tonight.
Know, Molly, you're held in so much love, girl. You got this.
Yeah.
There's a very violent situation.
Yeah.
I could feel that in one of the cards. So do whatever you got to do to get to yourself to be in a safe space right now and love on yourself as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And don't worry and stress too much about all that other stuff. Take it one day at a time right now.
You feel that too? Okay. Yeah. I feel like I know right now, because there was a lot of energy that I was getting from the card, that there's just like so much going on externally that it feels like that heart racing fast. And so I feel like right now it's like good to give yourself permission just to slow down and be with yourself and do whatever you need to do. Whereas before, I don't know if you have kids or not, but I know sometimes it's really hard when you do have kids to like
absolutely
just like be like, I'm not gonna really do anything today, or I'm just gonna be selfish and do this for me today, because everything is like always about the kids sometimes.
Right.
So
well,
yeah.
All right. Well, you're welcome, Molly. Sending you so much love, girl. So
Chelsea, can you
who's
next? There's like a few people that I think, but she'll like basically pin it here on the bottom for us so that we can just sort of like go with the flow. So I don't have to scroll back.
Well, she says she has 2 kids and it's hard. Yeah. So I have 2 kids and she's got her second on the way.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. So we have Laura.
Hi, Laura. Do you want to read it for me?
Yeah. She said, yes, Ashley, I just started a new venture where I rent a space inside an antique shop. That sounds cool. It pulls on a past side business where I sold vintage records, but this incorporates other vintage, unique music-related stuff too. It's the first time I'm doing a physical space beyond a pop-up. The opportunity came up suddenly. I jumped on it, so I'm really excited, but also a little scared. Any insight on moving things this more confidently or how to market it differently, as it's a physical space venture, online pop-up? Thanks in advance.
Okay.
I got plenty of marketing on this one. So.
Yeah, you'll do that, and then the confidence piece. So do you want to go first on this, and I'll start to pull cards for her?
Sure. I think with the marketing piece too, because we're so used to social media and thinking that we need to market this way with social media, market that way, when we're actually dealing with a brick and mortar location, is working with the old school type of advertising, actual print, or really building up any sort of relationships with people who are also gathering anywhere around the area. And if it's a vintage shop too, there's, you think of the demographic that's going to be there. So they're actually more likely to pick up like a local publication that's for free at the local Dairy Queen, or I know at like the juice place I go to, there's always like the local publication, and their advertising is always really pretty cheap. So I would say forgo doing social media advertising and do something along the lines of even taking out potentially an ad in like a really cheap local magazine for your area. Or the other thing to do too is depending on who demographic that actually comes into the shop is to connect with that demographic. So it's like if it's 55 and older, then going to any of the 55 communities, especially if there's like a apartment complex or something along those lines, they always have activities going on for them in any of those communities. So the other thing is too, you can always bring a pop-up to them.
That sounds cool.
Which is always pretty cool and fun for them to do. So it's like, as far as like anything that goes marketing in person, my biggest piece of advice is this: if you were a person, how would you want somebody to come and market to you?
And I pulled 2 different cards for you. And one, I was thinking more of the confidence piece. And the other one is actually like how you attract abundance, which I feel is tied in with the marketing for you. And I grabbed a stone because I have a few different stones. And
my favorite stone.
This is my favorite too.
I'm like, I usually always have labradorite on.
I have a ring. This one doesn't have like the blue like flashiness in it, but like I felt like just connected to that one. But I know for you, Laura, that I know that you started to dive in more to like diving into manifesting and law of attraction. And I don't know if that's still something that you're practicing regularly, but I do feel like, because this was the crystal that I'm just like, yes, this one's for her. I do feel like there's a lot of magic and energetics that's tied into this business for you that's very different from the last one. There's been a lot of growth and a lot of discovery for you in between the two. So in terms of the things that are most important for you to understand right now is this life experience card. Perfect tie-in. But it talks about this card. I always get tuned into that there's things in the past that didn't work out that are like a little darker, a little like stormier, but that everything in front of you is possibility, that there's the butterflies and just like the flowers, and it's just lush and beautiful. And so the most important thing for you to really stay tuned into is the possibility, and not letting any of that past bullshit like pull you back, because that has nothing to do with where you're headed. And you are in a completely different place with all these different tools in your toolkit and spiritual things that you now know and understand. So I just feel like all those other things are sort of like not important at all. And then the Queen of Air stuff, it talks about, the Queen of Air card is the one that I picked for you in terms of abundance. And it also is how you kind of uniquely market your business as well. And the thing that stood out here, since I do know her as well, is it's talking about like witty and humor. And that's totally your personality, Laura. And so I also see you reaching people in a way, and like a part of your brand, like being that humor, that wittiness, like, and that's a part of your magic as well. I mean, look at this woman though. She is just powerful.
I mean, that's pretty much saying that anytime she intuitively taps into building relationships with people, or kind of like, because it's all about the sales when you're in retail too. When it comes to vintage shops, is you'll have the same people that kind of come in and then talk about it. So it's very much more of a word of mouth. These are people who are collectors or people who have clubs, and you just have this great personality about you where it's effortless for you to spin that wonderful magic of brilliance and beautiful, witty you. Anytime you're talking to anybody, and they'll come and they'll want to buy from you just because you have that magic about you.
Yeah, I feel like you are somebody that people just like fall in love with. And I feel like your wit and your charm, it's sort of like an all ages kind of thing. Like I can see somebody that's 20 or 80, like equally just being like very charmed by you. So I do feel like I really like what you're saying about the in-person stuff, because I feel like there's something about her that comes across in person. Although she does have a marketing, she works in marketing, so I feel like she could probably translate her like witty humor like into some really good copy as well.
Yeah, and the only thing that's coming up for me is when it comes to the vintage stuff that you're selling, if you wanted to really take it online, is to take it online in that kind of like eBay or space, where it's kind of like more of that auction kind of space, and then you would promote that as the more of the online piece. part of the business as opposed to people coming in. People now go to shop for an experience. They go into a store because they want to have the tactile experience of it. So as far as thinking about who that person is and how would they find out about you, and creating more just than them hunting for somebody, but them interacting with you.
So thank you, Laura. And then I'm going to have Chelsea pin the next one. I'm going to see if we could get the air turned on here too. I'm going to send a quick text because I'm like, it's getting very hot in here. I don't know if it's just
It's our
me and my hormone. Yeah, there's a lot of lights and a lot of hormones on my end. So I'm like, I don't know if it's just me, but it's hot.
How many months are you now?
4.
You're 4. You look great for 4 months.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So we got Christy, and it says career and business insight about selling a home and moving, possibly moving out of state. Clarity is appreciated. So I say pull some cards on this one.
Yeah, let's start here.
And that one I'd want to know your astrology too.
So
because certain astrology, certain signs, but it's like, well, based off your natal chart will tell you if now's a good time to move or to wait.
Ooh.
Do you know what your sun sign is for your astrology, Christy? If you know what your rising and your moon sign is, that would make a big difference too.
We'll look for your comments, and I'm going to start with some cards, Christine. Okay, so the first one that I want to read is, I'm calling it the challenge, but oftentimes it's just like a perception. It's not always like a real challenge. Okay, so the card that I pulled here is expecting the worst, self-fulfilling prophecies, and sleepless nights. So I would imagine that you're probably staying up at night, like going over like every different like possibility or every different outcome and weighing all these different things. So I want to let you know that right now, I know that you might not know exactly where you want to move, but I do really want you to stay more tuned into the possibility that you want to create, because right now your energy, like your spirit team, like the synchronicities are going to start lining up if you just focus your energy on what you are clear about right now.
She's a Gemini.
And so I just want to tune you in that right now it does feel like a lot of the challenges that are coming in do seem like they're more on the energetic side. I did pull an outcome card, and I like to mention anytime I say outcome, it's sort of just kind of based on how things are looking with the energy. This is sort of what looks like a possibility, but ultimately you have free will choice. So you could switch things up or make different decisions. But this is just things that I want you to get tuned into as of right now. So the 3 of Fire card is actually talking about abundance and how things do look very good, how it's a good time to make long-term plans. And what's interesting is I do feel like, I'll show you this card. The dragons usually are representing protection. I don't know a ton about dragons. I know a little bit about dragons, but I do know that they are usually coming in for protection. So my sense on this is that it does feel, it feels very much like it's less about like where you move. It's more about how you align your energy, because I feel like any possibility can be created from either place. But it's funny too, I'm tuning into this volcano that's in the background, as I do feel like you are sort of like a planner, kind of like a warrior at heart. And so I just want you to watch your energy there, because a lot of the outcome and possibility is going to be tied to that. Do you want to add anything in on this one from your sign?
Well, from the perspective of being a Gemini right now, and things for Gemini being a little tough, because we entered into our sun sign. We entered into our sun sign off of a full balloon moon in Scorpio. Depending on where Scorpio lands in your chart, it might have been a little bit more rough moving through May. But for the most part too, with June, we have the new moon in Gemini today. We have Venus moving into Gemini. So a lot of Gemini stuff is coming up. And the hardest thing for a Gemini when it comes to the Gemini karma is you're always pulled in these two different directions. And Gemini are, who am I and what is my purpose? And I would say, depending on more things that's based off of your chart, is to kind of like how to entertain that, because Gemini is very much like the conscious and the unconscious, and struggling to figure out what your purpose is, and always be like, should I do this or should I do that? And that's, and right now with Gemini and all the different energetic pieces as to kind of how the planets are moving and everything that's going on right now, I would say that right now is the best time to kind of like prepare, really, really look at it with a fine-tooth comb if this is what you really want to do, and more along the lines of having a very deeper conversation with yourself. Is this the best long-term investment for me? Does this bring me the most joy, or am I running from a situation, or am I running into a situation? And that really is for my highest good and my I was trying to think of what one of those cards were, to create the most abundance in your life.
Yeah.
Right. At the end of the day, what's going to create the most abundance? When you think about abundance, not just financial abundance, what's going to fill you up abundantly? And abundance is really just the definition of saying, like, I feel like going and taking a walk on the beach today. You can. So as far as, yes, I'd like to be a planner. So you know, it's just, sometimes it's hard for Gemini to be a planner. We just want to talk and keep going, and it's just like hard to keep us all over the place. So I would say for right now, during the month of June, really cultivating communicating relationships, and as far as how you relate to money, as far as in the Venus energy, you know, and really defining what abundance means and how you can have a really more loving conversation with that as a Gemini. So that's what I got.
So thank you, Christine. And then Chelsea, I feel like there might be, I want you to kind of jump around, Chelsea, because I feel like it's not always, I just realized my hands like sometimes block you with how I'm positioned. So Chelsea, I want you to just kind of intuitively pick people or use a system, close your eyes. I don't know, but I want to sort of mix it up a little bit just to, and maybe we'll move through these next ones a little bit faster so we can get to as many as we can.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a Gemini. I just talk.
Oh, it's fine. I feel like I tend to go longer on these like quick readings too.
It's hard to shut me up.
I did want to drop a link. Chelsea's going to drop a link for me in the comments, because Devon has these crystal meditations that are going on. If you guys do live locally in the Orange County area, they're happening in Laguna Beach. So I wanted you guys to have that link. So if you guys are wanting to check that out and be a part of it, it's also going to be like a part of her site. So you'll be able to access the rest of her site as well if you want to learn about her and you're just like, man, I just want to get in on this like action and work with her and redo my site and all of it. So you'll be able to find like all the stuff about her as well. Okay.
We got Monica, and she says, I would love a reading about what you see upcoming for my career.
Monica.
She said, you can skip me and go to the new person. I can go last even. So Monica, I'd be curious as to why you're not allowing yourself to go first, other than if you got a screaming child in the background that you need to tend to.
I think she's just trying to be, sometimes if people join a lot, they'll always be like, oh, you can skip me. And I feel like it's so nice, but it's just like, especially when I'm not
allow yourself to receive.
Doing it. Yeah, it's just sort of like Chelsea picked you.
Monica picked your reading for you. I think you're in a space where you need to allow yourself to receive and go first and be the person who gets the next gift.
It's interesting because I just picked the same card for her. I just sat here like shuffling, and like I always feel like it's so interesting when like in a short time the same card comes up, but it's the 3 of Fire card. It's talking about,
you're so cute, Monica,
abundance and things look very good, and it's talking about having patience at this time, which I know, Monica, you're always talking about divine timing. So I feel like the patience is very much a part of this as well, but I do feel like it's the same. It's like that energy of protection, but it's also I feel like you switch back and forth between like clear intentions and just having that like open to receive, kind of just like being that magnet to attract, and then being like, well, when is it going to get here? Like, am I doing it right? I kind of feel like you're teetering right now, back and forth. So I just want you to watch yourself on that.
Boundaries is the other thing that's coming up. So personal boundaries too, and sitting there and kind of even with why are you putting boundaries in front of yourself as well for whatever it is that you might really kind of need the support in, and that you're not fully allowing yourself to be like, like I really deserve this. This is something that I really want right now. So going full in, like just go full in. It's like she's got one. It's like I'm seeing this. Like I got one, kind of got 1 foot. I'm moving in a little bit, but I don't really want to. She said, I know it's when I'm in the unknown. Yeah, absolutely. So, but sometimes you just got to walk through, like, even if it's like when you're walking through your house, right? So, sorry. It's like you're walking through your house and you kind of know where you're going, and it's like you've walked to the bathroom and the bedroom's dark or something like that. It's like, be okay to take that next step even though you can't see, but know that once you start taking those steps and your eyes start to adjust, you'll be able to see it a lot clearer. So it's like you're in that place where it's just like you need to just take that step into the dark room and trust that it's okay if you hit a wall, but you'll still get to your destination.
And what's coming up for me too is like remembering that you're not by yourself, that your spirit team
absolutely
is there with you as well.
Yes. Yeah. And if they let you bump into a wall, it's because they needed a good laugh.
And they're like, she's gonna learn from that.
Because I'm scared to get excited.
Oh, but you know this already about like the importance of that, and just like
she said I had a job interview and a call about the next steps. That's awesome. Celebrate that. Celebrate yourself and imagine being what it would be like to have that job offer. Like envision them already calling you, envision your first day of walking into the place, and sit in that energy. Sit in that, even if you don't get the job. Just sit in that energy of how it would feel. And if it's not this one, then it could be the next one that comes along. And that energetic energy of sitting in that space, of that feeling of just the accomplishment, will bring it to you regardless.
Yes. It's like, I think it's not being attached to how it shows up.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes.
Thanks, Monica. And Chelsea's going to pick the next person. So I grabbed this other water and I thought it was regular water, but it's this like splash wild berry. Okay, so I like went to drink it thinking it was regular water just now, and I was like,
I don't know if I want that.
But have you had that experience where you like think something is one thing, but it's not?
Yeah.
And you're like, what is that? Okay, so who do we have after Monica? I think Chelsea dropped off and she just got back on.
Justine, Chelsea's partner. Chelsea told me about your lives tonight. I would like a business reading specifically on freelance VA business. I'm trying to find clients, but I haven't been very lucky. Thank you.
Okay. So I feel like I'm going to pull one card for this one just with the time. And I feel like we're going to talk about marketing and attracting abundance. And I'm kind of curious as well. Have you been trying to do it through Upwork as well? Because I have insight for you from knowing that site. So I'm curious if you can let me know if it's mostly been efforts through Upwork. Okay, so it's this 3 of Earth card, and it's interesting. It's talking a lot about creativity, recognition for high quality work, and being a team player. The sense that I'm getting from this card is it almost feels like I want to talk about the seeds being planted. Like it feels as though this is more about, it's not about how good you are or your abilities or how good your letters or emails are out to these other people. Like to me, this is feeling more about like having trust in that, like I keep planting these seeds and something is going to pop up. And then the creativity thing I also want to hone in on, because I don't know you, but I do have a sense that there's something creative in your past that you used to do. Sorry, I keep doing this hand thing because I feel like I need to be back here with her, so I don't do this thing.
Now it gets back to the face instead.
But I do feel like when you return to your creative roots, that it sort of awakens different things within you, that you start to have these different ideas come in like magic, just like sort of out of nowhere, and that you start to approach things in a much different way.
I've been trying through Upwork and other sites.
Okay. The thing that I'll say, because I do really believe in Upwork, and I still get a lot of clients. Like, it's been a place where it's been one of those things where in the beginning I sort of doubted it as like a freelance site, and then I didn't put a ton of time in because I'm just like, is this worth it? But it's definitely one of those sites where you get, once you get like the first client, the first person to hire you on there, that it starts to just like up your rating and the amount of people that start reaching out to you. And I do feel like as well that Upwork is very much about planting as many seeds as possible and going on there regularly, so that it's the things that you reply to, that you're replying in a way where they just like posted it within the last day or two, so that you're not like the 50th person that's applying. I'll say that through hiring on Upwork, through my past in the recruiting space as well, that it's so important that you are personalizing it, because I'm sure you've had people reach out to you, or when it's like a Dear Sir Amata kind of thing.
I
Where
hate
like
spammy stuff.
where
I'm all about
general.
I'm all about building relationships with people, and I don't ever tell people that that's a good sales strategy.
Mm-mm.
You know, it's always good to reach out to people and say, hi, how are you? Especially if you're becoming friends with people on Facebook.
Yeah.
So, because that's the other option too, instead of doing the Upwork, is if you're utilizing Facebook. And it's like, I see people in Facebook groups all the time posting about looking for referrals for a VA.
Mm-hmm.
And you go into a really active Facebook group with people in the coaching industry and say, I'm a VA, and they can find out more information about you. That's a good way to book a couple consultation calls to find out if they're good fits as well. I think what I'm picking up on is you kind of it not being something like, oh, I'm trying and I don't really feel like I'm lucky and it's kind of working out for me. It's more along the lines of it doesn't really excite you. And sitting back and thinking about something that excites you, because then you're able to really even do that as more as an opportunity. It's not a means for an ends, but a lead in to doing more things that bring you joy. Because anytime you work with people, especially in this industry, you learn so much. When you're doing any kind of VA work, virtual assistant work, personal assistant work, you're really getting paid to be a shadow and mentored in a certain way, because you're getting training and you're also getting knowledge and you're supposed to execute things. So I think the other thing is really just being like, oh, does this really excite you? And allowing it to be the lead-in to more things that potentially excite you, where you're doing that creative piece that she's picking up on, because there's probably something for you that's way more exciting. That's creative.
Yeah. I like what you're saying, because I know that I had a client recently that hired somebody because he specifically reached out to him with excitement about what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I wasn't even like looking for this specific person, but I just loved their email and like their excitement about me and the time that they took, that I was like, wow, like I need to talk to this person. Like, I feel like they have something to offer. So I feel like both are like, it's rather than the shotgun approach where it's just like a numbers game, that it's actually putting in more effort with like a fewer number of seeds and like really tending to those seeds, rather than just sort of like throwing them out everywhere.
Well, yeah, or find people who are online who are doing stuff that you admire and reach out to them and see if they're looking for anybody to do assistant work, a VA assistant work. Mm-hmm. And if you gush about how awesome and amazing they are and there's an open opportunity, they'll hire you because they like you, because of the relationship. People are hiring people because of the relationship.
Yes.
So instead of just doing some digital stuff and waiting for that person to come, go find your ideal boss.
Tips. I've been losing motivation because I'm seeing
Just kind of thrive in the field. with new clients like Ashley, and I want that success for me as well. Well, then, like, like people like Ashley. So if you want to work with people like Ashley, find other people who are similar to like Ashley, who are doing the things that are motivation to you, that are really fun and exciting. Like, oh, I love what this certain coach is doing, and start following them, and then hit them up to see if they're looking for a VA. Most people like Ashley, it's like, I would assume, like, if somebody hit you up and they seemed like really great energy, super excited, had a very well put together email, and it's just like, wow, well, here's manifestation at practice. I was just thinking yesterday I needed a VA.
And a lot of people that I know, a lot of coaches I know, they feel like the VA is like out of reach. And then once they start to explore it, or I start to talk about the investment that I make, then they're just like, oh, wow, like I need this in my life. So I feel like some people, they might not even know that they need you, but they totally do. And I'll tell you why I hired Chelsea. I hired Chelsea a lot because she was putting her personality first, and like I got this sense of her, and she was like talking about like her passion for like makeup and blogging, and I'm just like, I like felt like I knew her just from like reading about her. And I know that sometimes people hold back those details because they feel like they're unrelated. But I feel like that when I read your site, I feel like if you go to her site, Chelsea, if you could post Devon's link as well, she has like a really good about me section. And I feel like when I read that, when I was just like posting about us, I was just like, I love this. Like, I feel like I want to hire you and work with you because I feel like I know you. And it's more about who you are as a person. And then it's like, and I do this as well. And I feel like a lot of our decisions are made that way with who we hire.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully that was helpful to you, Justine. And you're in good hands with Chelsea.
She will give you a lot of tips as well. I feel like she's...
Aw, shucks. I think Chelsea was commenting. So, do we got time for one more? Or...
Yeah.
I know there was one person who made comments and they knew their sun sign and their rising sign and their moon sign.
Who do we have next? She's going to pin the next one.
Hey, a bunch of unicorns.
I like the unicorn.
Same here.
I always wonder when people put like the mad face. I'm just like, what is there to be mad about?
That's your mirror telling you something you need to figure out on your own.
I'm like, interesting. Okay, if you could pin the next one for us, Chelsea. Okay, cool.
I would like a reading, please. Career and finance, please. I am a Sagittarius moon, rising in Scorpio. Thank you so much. I am a Sagittarius. Moon and rising are both in Scorpio. Your moon and rising are both in Scorpio. And you're a Sagittarius. So you're a thinker, you're a philosopher. And your career and finance. And a moon and rising in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is super smart too. They're a really smart sign also. Amy says me, yes. You want to go first?
Okay, so the sense that I'm getting is like, I don't feel like how she's phrasing it that she has a business yet, but I feel like there's a big part of her that really wants a business. And so I guess I get a sense that that's might be what comes through. So, because sometimes you might ask for one thing and then your spirit team is going to be like, but we really want to talk about this right now. So if you want to pull through anything with the signs, and then I feel like that's probably what these cards are going to be about.
Well, and it's funny, right before you came up, there was a unicorn, and I can't, how do you say the girl's name that dropped the unicorn? She's from Hawaii, so I know you have a gorgeous name. I just don't want to butcher it. And so then this card has a unicorn in too. And the first one thing that I see is, sorry to do this to you.
No, you're fine.
Is the last unicorn, the first unicorn, the only unicorn. Kind of like, here's a group of unicorns, but then here is you. Like the unicorn standing out of the entire situation. And it was even prefaced with somebody just posting a random single unicorn
emoji. Yeah.
Because I would definitely say that having your rising and your moon in Scorpio, you're a bit of a unicorn.
I feel like the energy of this is sort of like the separation from the pack, which also ties in. I'll show you this photo.
Yeah.
Because before I'm just pulling the cards, it's sort of like, I'm like, yeah, it doesn't sound like she has a business. And then what comes in is like, yes, but even though she's not asking about her business, like there's this like, it feels kind of like this deep buried dream that you actually haven't even like thought about like super recently. It's sort of something that you've tabled that you're just like, it's not the right time, but can I really do that? And so that sort of feels like it's like a part of your purpose and destiny.
My question would be, Amy, are you in a corporate career right now, and are you in a like an executive position or a management role? Because the illusion of being trapped, a lack of self-confidence, afraid of taking action. So it's kind of like,
this is why she hasn't started
her business.
Your business yet.
Do you have a current corporate job or something along those lines? So I intend to start a new business.
Okay.
So what is the reading for her to like when to maybe do this, start the new business? Or
yeah, I feel like I just want to bring in like the energy of what her spirit team wants to talk about. I do kind of get the sense that there was like a corporate past. Like to me, like this part of the card almost looks like these like big like kind of like buildings or like a big team. Like there was a lot of people working around her, and then it does feel like this next one is going to be mostly you. It does feel more like kind of like freelance solopreneur. Maybe like at some point you get like a small team, but it almost feels like you choose to have it that way because that's like your version of what you want, that you don't need something huge. Empowering and bringing momentum. Okay, so there's something here coming in around your belief systems. The actual like worded on the card isn't resonating with me as much, but to me it feels like there's this need to like empower the belief systems, because I feel like there's a lot of kind of illusion surrounding you, a lot of things that are sort of created by the inner critic that seem to be these like big scary walls that are sort of keeping you away from what you want. But it kind of feels like you could just sort of go over and like go like that and just like poke it, and it just all falls down. Like it doesn't actually feel like there's these solid actual barriers that are standing in your way. So I think that all that I really want you to like take away from this conversation most is being more tuned into the possibility, because I feel like you haven't let yourself dream and think about that in a long time, that you're sort of just seeing what's right in front of you and you're focused on what's realistic. But I really want you to get like back to that space of like dreaming, of being that unicorn, of returning to that. Do you have anything else for Amy?
Yeah, there was something I was picking up kind of earlier, and I just totally lost it now because it must have not been that important. But I don't know now. It's not supposed to be delivered.
Okay. Should we? Do you feel like we should do one more? I know we're like at 8. Should we?
Sure, that's fine.
We should do one more.
Let's do one more.
We're gonna do one more. Anything
All right.
else?
Hopefully, Amy. Hopefully, we were helpful in what you're doing and what you're working on with business wise. Oh, and the other thing too, I think for you for business, because of being a Scorpio. And you said something about walls and all those kind of things like that.
Yeah.
It's what I'm kind of picking up too for yourself is there's some healing to go around anytime you felt that you've been wounded or attacked. And I think that you'll always feel trapped, regardless of if you're in a corporate situation or you leave to be a spiritual healer and stuff along those lines. So there's some stuff that's coming up for you there. But yeah, going into the road of being a healer is probably definitely the best direction for you to go, because I could say that there's probably some stuff that you're working out.
This is like all a part of getting to that as well. Like whatever your road is to get there, oftentimes it's going to be directly related to what you're supporting
Well,
other
and we
people
teach
in.
what we want to master, you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it's like going in essentially into these fields and these things along those lines, but it's also making peace with the current situation that you're in and understanding that you're never stuck, you're never really trapped, and that we are the creators of our own reality, and you can actually free yourself in the space of that you made the decision to be there and make the best of the situation as you create your exit plan. Because when you create your exit plan too, you leave behind those energetics that were uncomfortable, the stuck, that this is what I have to do right now, and kind of along those lines. So you really, really free yourself and to then go out and be an entrepreneur and take on the spiritual catalyst that comes with becoming an entrepreneur. So I don't know if Chelsea, if you got one more for us.
Yeah, if you could pick one more for us, Chelsea. And if you guys don't get your turn tonight, I do this almost every single Monday. Every once in a while, there's not a Monday, but I let you guys know. But it's almost every Monday, and I have a different guest. He's not going to be here with me, like next to me, because he's in Canada. But he's read with me a couple times. Alberto Forzan, and so he adds a really cool, like, different dimension to what we're doing. So come back next week. And the sooner you get here, if you guys were here early, you'll notice like it's very quiet in the beginning. So you can always make sure that you get chosen if you were like one of the first people.
So I know Lana just posted.
Okay.
Or Lonnie. Is it
Lynette.
Lonnie?
Oh, Lainey.
Lonnie.
She pinned Lynette, so I feel like.
Oh, okay. First time viewing. I would appreciate a reading, please, and thank you. Lynette, is there anything specific regarding the reading, business, career, that you're stuck on right now, or that you want clarity on? Or we'll just kind of pull a couple cards and tell you what we get.
Okay. Yeah, Lynette, are you still on? I definitely want to go with someone that's still on, that's like watching live right now.
Just Lynette, first time viewer. Hopefully she's still on. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you, Amy.
Happy to be of service to you. Sounds like Lonnie.
Oh, Lynette. Okay, with
Well,
career.
Because Lonnie, you're from Body, right?
Oh.
She knows Lucinda. She's good friends with Lucinda. So if Lynette's not on, then we'll talk about what you're doing, because Lonnie's been fighting at the bit a long time to get.
I'm okay with doing both of them.
Okay.
If you are.
Yeah.
The time. Okay.
You got 18% on your battery.
Oh, I can plug that in. Thank you. That could have just gone off. I didn't plug it in. But now it's plugged in. Now we're good. Okay, so let's do Lynette.
Whatever
Okay.
you're drawn to tell me. Okay, so let's just pull some cards, and this can be kind of for Lynette and Lonnie a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing that you mentioned, because I feel like if you didn't get your turn, that oftentimes the people get chosen that have certain things that are going to be said out loud that you're also meant to hear. So if something's really resonating with you, it was for you as well. And so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Okay. So there's two different aspects, the perceived challenge and then an area that you need more balance. I feel like I want to start here right now. So it's this dreamer card, this Archangel Metatron. And it's talking about a leap of faith and following your dreams and unexpected opportunities. And I feel like a lot of the people that I usually have been coming in contact with are, there's this energy of like returning to dreams that I've noticed a lot of times lately, that I've been meeting a lot of people. So I feel like for you, talking about this leap of faith, that there is this returning of dreams for you as well. But I do feel like there's this, I don't know if you've like dived into your spiritual growth yet, but I feel like that's a part of it, like a big part of it. That it's like a different world that you're about to step into. In terms of what I'm seeing for any kind of challenge or perceived challenge, it's this 8 of Fire card. It's talking about events moving at a fast pace, that delays are over, that many things are happening at once. So things, they're feeling like a little bit chaotic. I almost want to tell you that you need a little bit more grounding right now, because I feel like that your energy just needs to be a little bit more centered, and that you have the most clarity in terms of your time and priorities.
Yeah, she can't make a decision because she's not grounded right now. There's too much going on and flying around.
Yes. And so, but that there's, when it's talking about the delays being over, that in some ways things moving at a fast pace, it's also, while it seems chaotic, it also feels like it's sort of naturally pushing you in the direction that you're meant to go. And I get this sense of you questioning your path and your direction right now. I don't know if there's a little bit of questioning around.
I think it's overwhelmed though. I'm really not sure what I'm supposed to do. There's this happening and that going on.
Okay. I've been researching spiritual growth.
Very true. I'm all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it feels like, I know that a lot of times, like, we start to feel like we're not on our path, but we can never, like, not be on our path. But it's always,
your journey is always your journey,
and it's unique,
and it's unique to you at all times. I think when we get lost in the emotions of something that's taking place, we sometimes forget, like, this is just your unique, beautiful journey that you get to be on. But what I'm getting is stop and take a breath and be like, get present in the moment as to what's happening in your life, and those things that really, really give you an opportunity to just stop and somebody be like, what are you looking at? And you're just sitting there in that space being like, because you become so blessed at, like, for me, it's our kids. Like, that moment when you're staring at your child and they're doing something where you're just like, I could stop in the whole world right now in this one gorgeous, beautiful moment that I get to experience. And what can you do in your life to experience more of those beautiful and gorgeous moments?
Yeah. I feel like the three things that I, from me, want you to take away, because we have both said the grounding. I feel like, I don't know if you have a gratitude practice, but I really want you to have that gratitude practice, because I feel like that's a part of her pausing to be in the present moment. It's like such a good way to just be where you're at. And then also to keep following your spiritual curiosities.
Absolutely.
Because I feel like this, like, it feels very simple. Like, it's as simple as that right now. I feel like I don't even want to add. You feel you're like, oh, just everything is complicated. Let's just keep it simple.
Well, you're one of those people where it's clearly one of these things where you know the answer to what you're supposed to do next, but the thing is, stop giving yourself so many stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, stop and just give yourself a moment to take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and just get quiet and do a little bit of breathing. And don't try and shut your head off. Allow it free range. And allow it to keep going through the free range. And as you're slowly focusing on your breathing and exhaling and all that stuff, you're going to start to feel these things that come to you that are going to be very intuitive and very clairvoyant and very in that next, like, oh, okay, I'm going to do this next. And then that is the practice that you start incorporating every time you feel this, like, oh my God, I have so much going on. I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know which thing to decide about. That's where your power is going to be in making those decisions. It's in that calm time space, not in the frantic, chaotic, lots of different things happening going on space.
The other thing that I just noticed is, like, and I haven't thought about this, but we were, like, talking about doing the Palo Santo and like doing the cleanse, and I thought of that right as you were talking, and so I'm just like, oh, that's probably for her as well. Like, she needs to get some sage or some Palo Santo.
Everybody, yeah.
I just feel like that's, like, going to be a part of your practice as well.
I smoke out my home office with sage almost every day. My kids now sage me and sage each other. So yeah, absolutely, because that's energy psychology. Because the biggest thing is this is like, we're inundated with so much stimulation. We're inundated with so much stuff that we're thinking. I mean, I'm a Gemini, I'm an air sign, so it's constant thinking and muddling in the head, and having a practice as far as smudging goes or sitting down and meditating, it's just not about doing some witchy shit. There's a psychology behind it. And the other thing is, there's scientific energy medicine research regarding it as well, because there's all these things about energy, and energy being these things that we can't necessarily see. That doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Yes. So when you're envisioning yourself being cleansed out, you're actually legitimately scientifically cleaning out the energy in your body and in your spiritual space, or what we call the energetic space as well. So yeah, everybody should be smudging all the time.
Yes, yes. So we were gonna go with Lonnie.
I just started smudging. Woohoo!
Oh, good.
See, you totally picked up on that one.
So I think we were gonna go to
grounding in presence is ongoing. Gratitude is foundation. Always feel I need to learn the next instead of sitting where I am at. Well, Lonnie, that has a lot to do with allowing yourself to bask in your worth. And that your value is great enough, like how you value yourself, that you can be able to provide all the things that you've already learned. Because it's kind of like we can prepare ourselves for college and take all these classes, but when we get out in the real world, do we go, why the hell did they have me take that class? That did nothing to prepare me for this, And it's like having the internships or going out and having that job, and you get paid to learn something. So it's like if you keep studying, you're never going to get that opportunity to learn something outside of what the book has to teach you, because it's in the actual experience.
Oh,
might mean we're done.
Maybe that was just time. Maybe Spirit cut us off at the perfect time.
Like we're coming back. I think we're coming back. Okay, I think we're good. It's saying it's trying to reconnect, but on here we're on here.
Weird. Do you think I should refresh it, or that'll like mess it up?
It might. Yeah, so people can see us and hear us right now.
Oh.
But we can't tell because it's saying it's trying to reconnect.
I think it's trying to reconnect.
Okay. But she said unfroze. Okay, so we're unfroze. It's still saying it's trying to reconnect on our end, which is funny. Mercury. Yeah, we're about to enter the shadow. Mercury retrograde is next month.
So for Lonnie, I pulled two cards for you. The one, I feel like there's a portion when you're talking about feeling unmotivated and a little bit stuck. Like, I do feel like there's like sort of lessons and things that you're gathering, and a part of it's just because that's not what you're going to be doing forever. But I do want to give you just a quick read on what I'm feeling has to do with your unique magic and purpose. I see you going into something that feels more like kind of like coach or healer, because I feel like what I do is help shift people into different perspectives, and that's what this card's talking about. It's talking about, well, awakening, and it's talking about teaching people to shift their thinking, to get unstuck as well, to get out of a temporary standstill. So I feel like all these tools that you're gathering right now are a part of that. The other thing that I really want to hone in on is talking about the importance of being yourself. And I feel like you're in this like integration phase where your life is moving from kind of having this separation where everything has its own place, where all of who you are is just wrapped into one, and you're just showing up that way all the time. And I think that the next iteration of what you do is going to be much more integrated. More facets of who you are going to be a part of that. The other one was really about the most important things for you to remember right now. So it does feel like you have a little bit too much on your plate. The card's talking about like too much work, learning to accept help from others, that things are a little bit out of balance and there's a little bit too much stress going on. So I just also want to point you to self-care, because I feel like as of right now, things just feel like they're spread a little bit too thin, and it's really hard to kind of move on and sort of gather all the lessons that you're meant to be gathering right now, or find that motivation if you're just tired and your cup isn't full. Is there anything that you want to get in on Liz for Lonnie before we move forward?
For Lonnie, the thing that's coming up for you intuitively is sounds good. I am myself at work, pretty authentic. is all the stuff that you've been training and learning that is in the realm of, and I'd like to use the clinical terms, energy medicine, because a lot of the intuitive space kind of falls in this clairvoyance of energy medicine, and when they're talking about things like yoga and meditation, and when you use words in the corporate environment that reduce stress and improve morale. So, and your current job or in the corporate environment that you might be in, or in the business environment that you might be in, there's an opportunity for you to provide the things that you've been trained and learning in that environment to help reduce stress and improve morale. Because there's a bigger conversation that's happening too, where I think Scott Ware posted something about one lady who goes to she goes and teaches yoga at a couple different businesses. I mean, we have major business corporations around this area as far as like connecting with them and going in. And it's like, Cedar Sinai all of a sudden is now doing Reiki. It's kind of like there might be a huge opportunity for you there to kind of create maybe these kind of contracts within this kind of environment to come in and be the person that's being like, hey, we have this conference or something along those lines, and today, you have the people in the corporate job have the opportunity to learn how to do energy healing on themselves so they're less stressed out at work. Corporate culture is a big thing in the corporate industry, and they cultivate it and they invest in it. So she said, I'm lucky I work with a nonprofit. More and stress reduction are good terms there too. So just understanding that, especially in a nonprofit, they're going to be open to the conversation of these things that were considered more woo back in the day. It's just utilizing the language, you know what I mean? And that's why I say things like Reiki is energy medicine, acupuncture is energy medicine, and everything's fucking energy medicine. But
I think the one thing I wanted to mention about the authentic is I know that I've noticed that it's not like a fixed point, that I always learn, like, as much as I feel like I'm there, there's always further to go, because I'm always learning about these different parts of myself. And then I feel like I don't really love the term authentic because I feel like it has like so many like things attached to it, and it's so different for each of us. But I do feel like it's sort of like an ongoing thing that we discover, because we're always changing and we're always different in different environments, around different people. We're always growing. So
we're always discovering our different frequencies of consciousness, which is another way to say our archetypes or our multiple personalities, because there's not one person that doesn't have more than one personality or characteristic or trait. And I think that that's what's really fun for me with astrology, because it's psychological astrology. It's really, really the study of the entire design of human disposition and human characteristics and archetypes, or the consciousness that we take on. So it's like you're studying, astrology is this place to breathe conscious awareness into things, which is what you do as a spiritual coach. And you use a lot of different techniques, is because you're helping people breathe this new level of conscious awareness into their being to help them become successful in their businesses, or overcome or release anything that might have been kind of held onto this archetype or this personality that we thought was really us.
Yes.
And that's when the discovery of, oh shit, I thought that was my authentic self. But really, it wasn't my authentic self. It was this protection. It was me protecting myself, thinking that that was the authentic way to be. But really behind all that, the subconscious or the inner consciousness was really dying to have that authentic self come be released. So I love that you say that self-authenticity is part of the journey. It's constantly being discovered and revealed and never ends.
Yes.
Until you pass on to the next realm, and then it's a whole nother level
of whatever
self-realization and consciousness. So,
well, I think that we went a little bit over by like 20 minutes. We got to as many people.
Been integrated in my life in terms of groups I'm around, including the work. Yeah, well, you got it. Keep going.
Yeah.
Girl.
Yeah.
You're on the right track. You're always on the right track. Continue to be the light that you are in the world, and don't be afraid to allow that intuitive idea and to serve where you are now by providing the unique magic you've been studying. Because especially in the nonprofit world, it's so important. Like, we have to have that corporate environment. We have to things, and on top of it, providing people who are doing things in the nonprofit world to help with their jobs be less stressful, to go through their own journey and to improve their own happiness and joy. That's so important, as opposed to leaving the corporate environment and not helping people in the corporate environment. Because we need people working those nonprofit jobs.
Yeah.
So thanks, love, you too.
Well, thank you guys for joining tonight. Thank you for coming and actually being here. And it's fun to actually have someone rather than just being in my little office.
I like the personal connection.
So make sure I'm gonna have Chelsea one more time just put a link for Devon. So if you want to find her and read more about her and what she does, and I'll be back next week and I'll see you guys then. Bye, everybody.
Bye.